Boaz of the tribe of Yehudah begat Obed, and Obed begat Yeshai, and Yeshai begat David. Of the books called Shamuel, the first, chapter 1. Now there was a certain man from the Ramathaim, watchman, from the hill country of Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Yeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Thuf, a Ephrathi. And he had 2 women. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of his city from year to year to worship and to sacrifice to Yahweh of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, priests to Yahweh, were there. And when the day came that Elkanah sacrificed, he gave to Peninnah his woman, and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But to Hannah he gave a double portion, for he loved Hannah, but Yahweh had shut up her womb. And her rival provoked her sore, to make her fret, because Yahweh had shut up her womb. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of Yahweh, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept, and did not eat. And Elkanah her husband said to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am I not better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest was sitting upon his seat by the doorpost of the temple of Yahweh. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed to Yahweh, and weepingly she wept. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thy handmaid, but wilt give to thy handmaid a man-child, then I will give him to Yahweh all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And it was, as she continued praying before Yahweh, also Eli was watching her mouth. Now Hannah, she spoke in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said to her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, No, my lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I poured out my soul before Yahweh. Count not thy handmaid for a wicked woman, for out of the abundance of my complaint and my provocation have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thy handmaid find favor in thy sight. So the woman went her way, and did eat, and her countenance was not sad any more. And they rose up in the morning early, and worshipped before Yahweh, and returned, and came to their house, to the Ramah. And Elkanah experienced Hannah his woman, and Yahweh remembered her. And it was, when the time was come about, that Hannah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Shemuel, saying, Because I have asked him of Yahweh. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer to Yahweh the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she said to her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before Yahweh, and there abide forever. And Elkanah her husband said to her, Do what seemeth thee good, tarry until thou have weaned him, only Yahweh establish his word. So the woman tarried and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, with 3 bullocks, and 1 ephah of flour, and a bottle of wine, and brought him to the house of Yahweh in Shiloh. And the child was young. And they slew the bullock, and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my lord, as thy soul liveth, my lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here, praying to Yahweh. For this child I prayed, and Yahweh hath given me my petition, which I asked of him. Therefore also I have granted him to Yahweh. As long as he liveth, he is granted to Yahweh. And he worshipped Yahweh there. And Hannah prayed and said, My heart exulteth in Yahweh, my horn is exalted in Yahweh, my mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none holy as Yahweh, for there is none besides thee, neither is there any rock like our God. Let ye not make much that ye be wording proud. Arrogant speech cometh out of your mouth. For Yahweh is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumbled are girded with strength. They that were full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry have ceased to hunger. Yea, the barren hath borne 7, and she that hath many children languisheth. Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to Sheol and bringeth up. Yahweh maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and he lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust. He lifteth up the needy from the dunghill, to make them sit with princes and inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahweh's, and he hath set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his holy ones, but the wicked shall be put to silence in darkness. For not by strength shall a man prevail. They that strive with Yahweh shall be broken to pieces. Against them will he thunder in skies. Yahweh will judge the ends of the earth, and he will give strength to his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. And Elkanah went to Ramah, to his house, and the child did serve to Yahweh before Eli the priest. Now the sons of Eli were sons of worthlessness. They knew not Yahweh.